Shalom. First, let's give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh. Double honors to teachers, elders, and the apostles of great millstone, likewise, brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and dear brothers and sisters. Tuning in Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, The Transition Has Started. And before we get started, let's take a look at the word transition in the ordinary dictionary. And it means the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. Now, if you're old enough, you would remember the days of, plenty and things going really well here in Great Babylon for most people. You had an opportunity to have a career when you graduate from college. You can go into the store and buy food cheap. Parties were everywhere and everything was nice and happy. But what we're seeing right now is a transition, to a state, of despair, hopelessness, and betrayal. Let's go into the book of Acts 14 and 22, because this is actually a transition that's going to be good for the hopeful elect of Yasharallah. It reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of power. So the elect through much tribulation is going to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So if there's no tribulation, then how are we going to enter into the kingdom? We have to go through these tribulation. But we can see right now this transition has started. Let's take a look at this video. We're going to go into the scripture.
We are now into day 9 of the government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson went on live television and he got a call from one woman. She said she's a Republican, a military mom, and she said she was outraged.
I have 2 medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country. I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military's getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
So military troops, they're not getting a paycheck right now, and this is Capitol Hill. As you can tell right over here, this is the House side. It is completely empty. That's because lawmakers are back home in their hometown. Speaker Johnson says he will not bring them back here to Washington unless Democrats back off of their demands. And today, over here in the Senate, well, they voted for the 7th time to fund the government, and for the 7th time, it failed. There's no end in sight.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm a former federal employee that was purged on Friday. I do have some good news for federal employees. If you were just laid off, you still have one more paycheck coming.
For the first time in our history, Trump and Republicans are firing federal employees, despite the fact that we gave $20 billion to Argentina yesterday.
Breaking news on a Friday afternoon, federal workers, many of them are neighbors here in the Washington, D.C. area, are being fired. A post on X from the director of the Office of Management and Budget, Russ Vought, said rifts have begun, government speak, for reductions in force. In plain English, it means people are being fired in the midst of this government shutdown. How
yes,
many?
A lot of federal employees are Trump supporters. This is the worst economy to be fired. No social program. Food banks are been cut in funding and have lines everywhere already by military. But we gave $20 billion to Argentina yesterday, and we have done so much personal Trump spending and spending money on military. Just watch some of my videos. The economy is collapsing every single day. I would highly recommend calling your elected officials.
If I hear one more person or read one more comment that says, oh, you'll get paid when all this is over, I don't know why you're worrying. Getting paid when all this is over is not paying my bills today. We are dealing with the consequences of someone else's actions. So don't you dare blame me for not being prepared. Oh, you should have money in savings. Oh, you're a federal employee. You should be prepared for this kind of stuff. No, that's where you're wrong. I shouldn't have to take out of my savings because someone else can't do their freaking job.
And as you saw in that video, okay, people are catching hell. Okay, there's a sense of hopelessness. Okay, you have people concerned more about their economic status. Okay, whether they're going to eat. Okay, whether they're going to have the ability to pay their bills. Okay, and they feel betrayed. Okay, by the very officials or king that they put all their trust into. And so right now they're feeling it. Okay, this is the book of Isaiah 19 and start verse 14, because we bring it out all the time concerning these things that's going to take place, especially here in Great Babylon, America. It says, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, had mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and of course Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggered in his vomit. And if you find any experience with people who are drunk, you know, they tend to be incoherent. Their decision is not the best. Okay, this is the reason why you have DUI. Okay, drunken under the influence is, you know, the penalty is going to prison, you know, because you can kill a pedestrian or get into an accident because you're not aware of your surroundings. You're not coherent. Okay, and this is what you see going on here in Great Babylon, America. Continuing, it says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And layoffs after layoffs, supposedly hundreds of thousands got laid off Friday from the government, and they're using this shutdown as a means, you know, to shroud, okay, their intention of bringing this place into a more desperate, despair-driven, okay, environment. It says, in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and they shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shai, which he shake it over. So this is that judgment that the Lord Yahweh Shai is bringing. Okay, the one thing you can say about Great Babylonians or Americans, okay, is pride. Pride, because the petrodollar, okay, is the king of currency on this earth, and with it, Americans, you know, have been able to go across the earth, you know, and influence other tribes into following their ways, because these tribes have to trade with the petrodollar. Okay, but now in Great Babylon itself, you have the same people, you know, that pride themselves on being an American. You know, people, you know, hold a flag up or put their hands across their heart and go, I am proud to be an American. And we're seeing right now that doesn't mean shit. Okay, it says, and the land of Judah should be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof should be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shai, which he had determined against it. And we are telling you, because who's impacted first? Okay, it's always going to be Jakes, okay, so-called blacks and Americans and Latinos. All right, and you've seen the uproar is coming a lot from Jakes. Okay, right now, simultaneously, Jakes is experiencing, you know, job losses. They also have to worry about being scooped up by these federal agents that is, you know, looking at them based on their skin color or their accent, and, you know, making them disappear from public sight. And we see this happening. So this is part of the tribulation that's going on. And even those of us who are part of the hopefully elect, we too are going to get some tribulations. You're seeing people now, you know, looking at the ministry as the blame. Okay, that the words that we're speaking, okay, is creating a division for Jake's not to be able to get closer to Esau. Okay, which Jake, you know, through those matches over the last couple of decades, they've been trying to really, you know, cozy up to Esau, and that hasn't worked, and it's never going to work. It says that, you know, basically, you know, the poor, okay, starting with the Hebrew Israelites, okay, which is so-called blacks, Americans, and Latinos, okay, 2/3 who are not under the protection of the Lord, okay, the Mashiach, okay, to eat and have subsistence provided for them, and, you know, be in a state of mind that everything that's taking place is actually for the good of the children of Israel, okay, because it's a transitional phase. It's the destruction of the current rulership of the so-called white man, which would include the people that oppress us every single day, which is usually going to be these low-level Edomites and these other tribes that are here. They're going to go through tribulations, simultaneously as we go through it, known as Jacob's trouble. Okay, but you know, these YNs and these YNWs, okay, young nigga women, boys, you know, and just poor Jakes in general is just going to be going wild, buck wild out here, okay, and you know that would lead to, you know, them really justifying them coming after the children of Israel, you know, with lethal force throughout this kingdom. Okay, and we know that's going to be taking place. Let's go take a look at another video here, and this is going to be concerning, you know, with people just not even be able to buy food. Okay, at least not the kind of food that they want. Okay, check a look at this.
Everything is so expensive right now, and it's literally by the grace of God that me and my family are surviving.
And now we're living in a dream that involves paying $10 for a dozen of shitty eggs, paying $2,000 a month for an apartment in the ghetto that's about 700 square feet and it has no walls.
Forget the image of wealthy America you once knew. Because in the richest country in the world, 1 in 7 adults doesn't know what they'll have for dinner tomorrow. You heard right. A country that spends $877 billion on defense cannot ensure a full meal for millions of its citizens. While corporations are reporting record profits, food prices increased by 11% in just 1 year, twice the rate of wage growth. And American workers who built this nation have to count every penny. If this is the land of opportunity, why does the American dream now begin with an empty shopping cart? And if an empty refrigerator has become the new normal, we must ask ourselves, what else of the American dream has yet to be taken away?
And as you saw in that video, okay, is all you're seeing right now is just complaints. Okay, this is 2nd Esdras 9, Star Wars 1. It reads, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the sign pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world, which he made." Now, they talk about that peace deal taking place over there in the Gaza Strip area, okay, and that's going to be another lesson, okay, but we know when they say peace, peace, okay, there's going to become sudden destruction, okay, they're never meant to have peace. The only peace that's going to be on earth is when the Mashiach returns, okay, but let's go back into the local, okay, economy here in Great Babylon, America. What we're just seeing is a lot of uproar. The people that says, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Uproars after uproars is what we see constantly in the media. Now, we talk about this transition, okay, all of these things, okay, which are tribulations that's coming on pretty much basically everybody, but of course the elect also is going to experience a bit of it, okay, but not be destroyed, is, okay, all the works of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai in order to bring in, okay, a righteous kingdom, okay. This Ecclesiasticus 10 and Psalm 7 reads, "Pride is hateful before power and man, and by both one commit iniquity." So when you're prideful, you're going to be wicked, which is why you see the so-called white man, he cannot be good because he's full of pride. Esau is full of pride. These Edomites are full of pride. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So when you take a look at verse 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, wickedness, unfair treatment, okay, you have social profiling, racial profiling, tribe profiling, okay, color profiling, injuries, murders, okay, and riches got by deceit, okay. How did the so-called white man got the land of America from the Native Americans, okay, or we know the tribe of Gad, okay, through deceit, okay. They would trade with them with blankets that had their diseases on it, because the so-called white man is naturally filthy. He has a lot of diseases. People being clean are not used to it. You know, we're dying in the tens of thousands, if not in the millions. And you can see, you know, the state of Israel, which is our homeland, that's our place. Okay, it's being occupied by imposters. Okay, by imposters. And the world believe that those people are the holy people. At least They used to, they're not believing it now, and they're questioning it right now, which I know as the world come to the conclusion that these people are the true wicked, that's when they're going to really shut us up. Okay, it says the kingdom is translated from one people to another, and that is the righteous kingdom that's to come. Okay, the heavenly kingdom. And you can see here when we close out in Revelation 21, and start verse when it reads, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there were no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from power of the fair one, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And, there's going to be a time when the elect is going to be on the chariots, as, Yahweh Shemashai continue to judge the nations, okay, especially Great Babylon, America, which, any brother and sister that's part of the elect in this ministry will witness the destruction of Great Babylon, America, okay, from the chariots, okay, or basically we can say from high orbit. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of power is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and power himself should be with them and be their power. As our present body right now, we're not spiritual. We desire to do the right thing. Unfortunately, in our body, we weren't created to do the right thing. We were created to go off. We were created to do wickedness. And there's a reason for that. In the kingdom, we will not be wicked. Okay? We will not have a wicked heart or wicked eye towards our brothers and sisters, as we have right now. Okay? So this is part of the things that we have to deal with in this flesh. It says, and power shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And that's for the Hebrew Israelites. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. Okay, a new earth, new rulership in righteousness. Okay, and he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. And this is all we preach, is words that are true and faithful. Okay, that's coming from the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai. So this has been the transition that started. If you're looking into the headlines, you're seeing clips from TikTok, Instagram, whatever out there. And if you're diligent as a watchman, okay, you will know that the transition has already started, and it's going to be a very painful transition for us to get into the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so stay grounded, brothers and sisters. Okay, shalom to those of you who are tuning in.